What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, I have to do another disclaimer. Anytime I do a disclaimer, it's to let you fucking idiots know that I may say something that you dislike or that you disapprove of. So I give you the opportunity to shut the video off, hit the dislike button early, and go about your business. So, this video is going to be about Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., and you may not like everything I have to say. Now, this picture that you can see was just released. This is in Mexico. Chavez Jr.'s brother, Omar Chavez, was fighting. He's a fighter as well. And this is Chavez Jr. in the ring. Okay. My problem with this is I am aware that Chavez has been on a layoff / suspension from his last fight to now. For those of you that don't know, Chavez Jr. fought Sergio Martinez. He lost. He had Sergio Martinez hurt in the 12th round. Couldn't pull the trigger. Couldn't quite get Sergio out of there. And he lost to Sergio Martinez in Las Vegas. After that, he tested positive for a PED. He received a very stiff fine because this was his second time testing positive for a PED. In the late 2000s, he tested positive for some kind of diuretic for cutting weight. If you guys know anything about PEDs, sometimes they use diuretics that cut weight to mask other steroids and other like HGH and other actual hardcore PEDs, if you will. So that's speculation, but that's just a fact when it comes to diuretics. Sometimes the people who are taking diuretics are caught, they get caught with a lesser substance to mask something that they're taking that is even more egregious, something that is more that is giving them a definite advantage, not just cutting weight. Same thing with J. Leon Love, diuretic. Also with Eric Morales against Danny Garcia, he tested positive for a diuretic as well. So I don't know what these fighters were taking other than what was released. So Chavez Jr. stiff fine, long layoff, at least 9 months since his last fight. And he's looking to get back in the ring against Brian Vera. They were trying to make a Martin Murray fight. Martin Murray had problems with his visa, so it didn't look like he'd be able to fight in the States or Vegas based on his visa discrepancy or whatnot. So that fight was scrapped. They're talking about possibly making Martin Murray and Gennady Golovkin, which I would love that fight. And Sergio Martinez, or excuse me, Chavez Jr. and Brian Vera, possibly in Texas. Huge Hispanic fan base. Canelo showed you that against Austin Trout. Chavez Jr., he has a namesake. His father is a legend. One of my favorite fighters of all time. He's definitely top 5 Mexican fighters of all time. I put Chavez Sr. on that list. People like Salvador Sanchez. I would put Eric Morales, Marco Antonio Barrera, Juan Manuel Marquez, and there's other great fighters. But definitely his pops is a living legend. Did tremendous things for the sport. His record is unheard of these days, as many people as he fought. Keep in mind, all the people he fought weren't elite world-class fighters, but to fight 60 dudes in Mexico without a loss or whatever his record was, that still shows you something, because I mean, that's still 60 humans who are trying to win, who are trying to knock your head off. Anyway, back to Chavez Jr. My problem with Chavez Jr. is look how much weight he has gained since his last fucking fight. My problem with Chavez Jr. is it looks like he possesses some level of skill that his dad has bestowed upon him, like a granite chin. His pops was known for having a great chin. It looks like he inherited that because his toughest test, Sergio Martinez, he was able to withstand the 11 rounds of punishment and have a late rally and almost get Sergio Martinez out of there. So it looks like he has a chin. He's beaten some of the top guys at the time in his division, people like Andy Lee. I'm not saying he's the most technically sound, but he's the rough and tumble, wear you down, outweigh you, just like brute force type of fighter. And I think he lacks discipline. Don't get me wrong, his father battled his own demons with like drug abuse and alcohol abuse and stuff like that, but I believe most of that was later in his career, and he had already done remarkable things in in his boxing career. Chavez Jr. just seems spoiled to me. He seems like he lacks discipline. He comes from a legendary fight name. I mean, he shares the same name as his father. It's like being Martin Luther King's son or something. Martin Luther King Jr. or whatever, or George Foreman's sons. I mean, you share the name of a living legend, and I don't think he always does his father's name any justice based on his own performance. If you watch the 24/7 for the Sergio Martinez fight, he looked like he wasn't listening to Freddie Roach. He looked like he wasn't listening to his father. His father is full of wisdom. His father was trying to give him all the help in the world on how to fight a fighter like Sergio Martinez, how to corner him. He looked uninterested. He was eating Fruity Pebbles or Lucky Charms or some shit. He was sleeping in till 5 p.m. Freddie Roach was at the gym. And don't get me wrong, Freddie Roach, not I agree with Freddie Roach on the 24/7. He relocated for Chavez Jr. Or in the Sergio Martinez fight, Freddie Roach is in Southern California, LA area. Chavez Jr. wanted to train in Las Vegas. So Freddie Roach actually traveled to Las Vegas to train Chavez Jr. for the toughest fight of his career, which he lost, and that was against Sergio Martinez. So Freddie Roach is already doing as much as he can to accommodate you. He's relocating. He's whatever hour of the day you feel like training, he's training you. If you don't feel like going to the gym for whatever reason, he moves couches, or he get people move couches, and you have your own makeshift workout session at home in the luxury of your own home or apartment you're renting or wherever the fuck you're at, and you still lose and you still test positive for marijuana. Man, something about it, I don't see him having that warrior spirit that his father had, that burning desire to be a fierce competitor. When Chavez Jr. and Canelo burst onto the scene in the States, where they were really pumping both these guys and saying that these are two great Mexican fighters, and they were really, in my opinion, they were giving these guys more props than what they had earned. But as time goes on, I see Canelo seems like a fierce competitor, someone who just wants to win. There's more than just I want money. I mean, don't get me wrong, Canelo can be sort of a prima donna in certain ways, but to me, Canelo is always in shape, and he seems like he has more of a warrior spirit in terms of wanting to fight. The Austin Trout fight was made with ease when the fight finally got made. I think a lot of it might have been his handlers in terms of Canelo, as far as why he wasn't facing some of the tougher people. They were trying to build him up, build his confidence up. I don't know that Canelo himself didn't want Austin Trout earlier, or didn't want to fight Edeslandi Lara when he was calling him out or whatever. But I just see, in terms of mentality, in terms of mental strength, I see Canelo as being more of a warrior in spirit, trying to rise to the occasion. I mean, he's taken on a tough challenge with Floyd Mayweather, someone who's very seasoned. But Chavez Jr., I feel like he could go further in the sport if he had a better mind state. I mean, the amount of weight that he actually weighs in this picture is outrageous. I mean, you're talking about a guy who fights at 160, and he looks clearly over 205 in this picture. He's about 6 foot tall, and he looks clearly over 205. He looks fucking huge for his weight division, and that can't be great for your body. Look at Ricky Hatton. Ricky Hatton would do the same thing. He would balloon up, and they used to call him Ricky Fat, and he would balloon up and then have to go through dire straits to cut weight, to make weight for fights. That's not good for your body to plummet up and down. It's not Wall Street, it's not stocks. You don't want your weight to fluctuate that much, and especially as a professional fighter, that does a lot to you. I think that's part of what Roy Jones experienced and what ended his long winning win streak. Is he went up in weight to fight John Ruiz, came back down too fast, and Tarver ended that for him. I think it was a combination, Tarver's skill or precise good shot, plus the weight difference. Same thing with Chad Dawson. Chad Dawson moved up in weight a lot. He moved up in, or not a lot, but he moved down in weight because he called Andre Ward out at a certain weight class, and then he tried to move back up, and then he lost both of his fights by TKO and KO. So weight is not something you want to play with, in other words. And to go from 205 and try to shred down to 160 and have a long layoff, I don't see how that's good for your career. Whereas, like I said before, you got guys like Canelo who seem to stay in shape year round. You got guys like Mayweather who seem to stay in shape year round. Mayweather took 2 years off from the sport and he seemed to stay in good shape, came back and took on elite level fighter, whether he outweighed Marquez or whatever you want to say. Marquez is a tough competitor and he has a chin, and there was no reason other than Floyd being a superior sharpshooter that Marquez would lose every single round off of Mayweather coming off a 2 year layoff almost. So as far as Chavez, it's just really disappointing because I don't even know if he knows his own full potential. I don't even know if he knows who he can beat and who he can't beat based on his lack of dedication to the sport. I mean, this dude, he looks huge, and like I said, I understand long layoffs and how that goes. But one thing that I love about boxers is a lot of them just have a fighter spirit. You guys like Josecito Lopez, I mean, a career 140 pounder, moved up, shocked the world, beat Victor Ortiz, and then right after that, he took on Canelo, who's a huge 154 pounder, and he lost, but I mean, he was still game and he still took on the challenge. And that's one of the things that I love about the sport of boxing is the level of competitiveness, the level of discipline that these fighters have to not smoke. Some fighters don't have sex during training camps. Some fighters, they have to curb their appetite and their addictions and stick to a strict diet. Some people get up at 4 a.m., 3 a.m., go jogging just because they need to get their miles in. If you follow any of these fighters online, like Danny Garcia, people like Gabriel Rosado, on their Instagram, a lot of times they're posting videos. Gabriel Rosado was posting a video of him running, and he had to catch a flight within 2 hours, but he still went on a 3 to 5 mile run before his flight. I mean, that's a level of dedication. Most people, if they're going to be bothered with an airport and have to go through that hoopla of traveling, they don't necessarily want to work out an hour before that. So I appreciate the fighters with discipline, respect for the sport. I don't know how much respect Chavez has for the sport. Maybe he's had everything on a silver spoon, and based on who his father is, he's been given a lot of opportunity, a lot of chances. But him gaining this much weight is absolutely atrocious. And then on top of that, some of the fans have the audacity to be mad at Andre Ward for trying to fight this dude. Andre Ward is trying to help his legacy. He's already cleaned out his division, but at the same time, why not get a money fight? If you've already cleaned out your division, you fought one of the guys at 175 that called you out at that weight. I don't think Andre Ward would not have fought Chad Dawson at 175, but Chad Dawson called him out at 168, said, I'll go to 168. So why should Ward move up to 175 when Dawson says, I'm comfortable, I can beat him at 168? I mean, it doesn't really make sense. And then as far as Andre Ward calling out Chavez, of course he wants a money fight. He feels he doesn't get the respect or the paychecks that he deserves, and he wants a big money fight. And this is a big dude. Again, this guy is clearly over 200 pounds. I can do an eye test and tell you he's over 200 pounds. He's 6 foot. Look how small his fucking father looks next to him in this picture. I mean, this is crazy that he balloons up and does this to his body, and then no wonder you have to take diuretics and do all kinds of shit, and then you're getting caught with banned substances. All these athletes, they have a list of things that are banned. You know you can't smoke weed. I live in California, whether you think weed is like nothing, it's still, this is your job. Weed isn't a big deal if you're not a professional athlete. If they say you can't take it, then you can't take it. You're getting $1 million paychecks to not smoke weed, to keep that out of your system. So if you can't differentiate work and recreation, then you're an idiot. Stop fighting and smoke weed if that's what you want to do. But don't reap the benefits of a professional fighter, get these $1 million salaries, and not be disciplined. That's all I'm saying. So let me know what you guys think. Chavez Jr. clearly looking like a lard ass and being over 200 pounds. Let me know what you guys think of this. How will he look against Brian Vera? How much weight do you think he has to cut? How much do you think he even weighs in this? I've told you my opinion. Let me know something. As always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.